So, Saturday was a very fun day. Oh, are we going to do an intro for Tales of the Game Store?
We did, Ian.
We did?
As we cut in, they just saw it. They just saw the intro. Go.
All right. All right, so my Saturday starts off. Lane and I are sitting around, and guy comes in, and just the way he's walking in with this big box, and he puts it down. He's like, hey, I was just down at the loan center. He said something weird. It was like, I don't know, the savings and loan center. He was trying to get rid of some stuff, like a rent. Can you sell stuff to a rent-a-center?
I guess.
Maybe that's what it was.
They rent stuff out. They'll buy it.
So he comes in, and Lane gets up to help him. And he's like, yeah, this is, the system is just good. It's good, ready to go. It was dirty as hell. So she sets it up, and she starts to test it. And it doesn't work at all. And so he pulls the choosy beggar statement. It's my birthday. Can you please buy it from me because it's my birthday? And Lane's like, no, man, I'm sorry. We can't, we can't do that. It's a broken system. And he's...
Well, what type of system was it?
An Xbox 360.
Okay.
Yeah. It's an Xbox 360.
Recurring theme.
Yeah. So he just stands there, and this is just the start of the day. So he's begging, and he's like, "Oh, but you could use it for parts." And she's like, "No, we don't really use it for parts." And he literally says, "Well, they break down all the time. There's got to be something in here that you can use." And it's like, dude, 100% you just explained why we don't want to buy your system, because they break all the time. And he's like, and then he goes as far as to be like, not even for the casing? And I'm like, no, not for the casing. And he just like...
Can you mine the gold from the chips? I mean, copper?
He just stands there and he paces a little bit and kind of gets like an aw shucks and like picks the box up. And and then he asks us, before he picks the box up and leaves, which had some other like miscellaneous cords and stuff in it, okay. He's like, well, can you guys throw it out for me? And usually, I will take people's recycling, like electronics recycling. Sure. Like if someone comes into the store and they're bringing me 3 systems and a box of games, if something doesn't work, I'm like, hey, do you want me to put this in recycling for you? So you don't have to
it goes
take
to
it
a
back.
Center, they process it.
And they take
Sometimes
care
they
of
resell stuff if they can.
Yeah. So that's what we do. If it doesn't work, we'll either recycle it for them, because a lot of people don't want to take it home, and I'd rather not see it in the trash. However, when you come in and try to sell me a bunch of broken... not a bunch. When you try to sell me a broken console, and then you try to get money out of us anyways because you just won some for your birthday, and then you ask me to throw out your trash, no, you're going back home with that system. And he did.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, shucks. So...
First of all, I actually think it was his birthday, or was that bullshit?
Oh, it was bullshit.
He pulled a PSP on this? For that?
Yes,
pulled
exactly.
A PSP.
It's like I've talked to John Riggs about it and a couple other people. I think it's a thing kind of known as like a choosy beggar.
I would have asked for his ID. All right, your birthday? Here's the deal. I'll give you $10 if it's actually your birthday. If not, you owe me $10.
Or you can just walk away.
That's what I'm saying. Next time you should do that.
Shamed. So... About 45 minutes later, I'd say, these 2 dudes walk in.
Is this a medley?
This is
Tales medley?
This is the Mega Saturday Fun Pack.
This is Mega Saturday Fun Mega Saturday Fun Pack.
Yes. So
Mega Saturday Fun
Pack. So 2 dudes come in. They look like they're in like their early 20s, and I would say like probably about 22. They're looking around, and they decide they would like a PlayStation 3. So Lane bundles up the PlayStation 3, and I grab some discs for the games after they looked for a while, and they decided that they wanted to play like the old Call of Duty games. So they got like Black Ops 2, something and something else. So as she's getting ready to as she asks them for the money, they go, "What's the return policy?" And she's like, "Well, everything we sell has a 90-day warranty, all the hardware. Mm-hmm. There is no cash returns, but if anything happens within 3 months, we've got you covered." And they're like, "Oh, you don't have like a 30-day money back thing or anything like that?" No, we don't. Oh, okay. Well, that's not something that, many small businesses do. All right. So they take 2 steps back and they're talking amongst themselves. Lane and I both at this point are like, okay, they wanted to buy it, use it for a week, and return it. We assume in our heads that they're not going to buy it. But we don't say that. But it's just, there's a shared feeling there when stuff like that happens. You kind of get an idea as to what's going on. So after hemming and hawing for a bit, they decide, okay, yeah, we'll take it. We're like, okay, cool. So we sell it.
How much again?
I don't know. They're fucking cheap at this point.
Okay.
It was would have been like 100, I think. It was 100 for like a 160 gigabyte PS3.
Okay.
So they buy that and a couple of, $5 games essentially.
And they're like early 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hour and a half later, they come back in. They're like, it doesn't work. I'm like, okay, well, what seems to be the problem?
I've heard this before.
we test all this. We test everything. We tried 3 games and they all froze on boot up. Like, okay. Now, that would be a really weird thing to get past us, but, saying all 3 games froze on boot up, I'm like, all right, well, maybe it's a disk or something like that. The disk drive error, but how would we have missed it? So, I think they were hoping we were just going to be like, I don't know, here's the money back. Like, if there wasn't one we had to replace. Because people always assume that I'm an asshole. But if, like, if you buy something from me and it's legitimately broken and I don't have a replacement handy, I'm not going to yank you around and be like, well, you'll have to come back in a week and get another one. No, I'm going to
get a replacement. You have a few PS3s laying around.
Yeah, you're going to get that money back if that was actually the case. But we have PS3s at the other store, and I knew this one wasn't broken. They just knew it was the last one we had. So I don't know if I honestly think they were expecting us to just give them the money back.
You think this was buyer's remorse?
Yes, exactly where I'm going with this. Buyer's remorse, because they didn't seem like they wanted to buy it initially as soon as they found out they couldn't return it.
Then why buy it?
And they were talking about how, they wanted to get together with, like, friends and play these games this weekend. So it didn't sound like it was going to be like a long-term thing that they wanted to do.
They want a weekend rental?
So yes. And that's why places like us don't do cash returns. We can't afford to rent your money while you rent our system. That money needs to be
Well, you're not renting your money.
Well, we're renting their money if they bring it back.
Yeah, they're getting a free rental.
Yeah, exactly. So Lane, this time, it's Lane. Lane hooks it up. And she goes, all right, so what was the issue? And the other guy goes, Black Ops 2 froze 3 times.
Okay.
As opposed to 3 games freezing at the load-up screen. So Lane puts the game in. And you can already tell they're like,
oh no, we're going to get found out.
So it loads up immediately.
Sure.
And Lane's like, she's just playing. She plays for like 5 minutes. She's like, well, fine. Seems like it's fine. They're like, no, try the other games. The other game didn't work. The other games didn't work. I'm like, what other? And they're like, try the Modern Warfare. So Modern Warfare goes in. Works fine. Lane plays that one for like 5 minutes.
Okay. It's a great job.
So we look at him and we're like, here's the last one you bought. And they're like, well, we had a BioShock that froze too, but we didn't buy that from here. Okay, well, we're going to try the last game that you bought from us, which I think was another no, it was those two. It was those two. And then we wanted to try the third game. They're like, oh, that's a BioShock. That was ours. I'm like, okay, well, it looks like everything's fine. And they were like, well, it freezes when we try to go online. Can you try to take the game online? And at this point, I'm like, no. They just keep shifting everything.
Sure. Moving the goalposts.
So they take it back and they leave. I get a call about an hour later, and this is part of the whole story that always makes, like, it was just weird. I answer the phone. I'm like, Luna Video Games. And they're like, hi, this is one of the 2 young men who came in earlier and bought a PS3. Mm-hmm. They referred to themselves as young men. It was just
We
a
are
very
upstanding young men.
Like what? It was just that will stick with me forever. It's like, why are you?
Not even men or boys or.
We are young. I'm one of the 2 young men.
I am 22, sir.
I am 22.
I'm a senior.
I am young and I am a man. I am not a child and I am not old. I'm a young man.
I'm a letter man.
I'm a letter man. So they go, okay. Like, it won't connect to the internet. Which is something that they had said as they were leaving last time, about because they said it was freezing. And they said maybe the Wi-Fi adapter is broken. This is what they're telling me on the phone now. So basically, when they left last time and they were asking me to check online, I was like, also, we have to clear these systems before we sell them, and you have to be able to log on to the internet to clear the system.
So you had the Wi-Fi at some point.
So we had the Wi-Fi was working at some point. So they call me back, and he's like, I'm fairly certain it's the Wi-Fi adapter.
Trying to do his best grown-up voice.
And yeah, I'm surprised they didn't come in like one on top of the other one with a trench coat on. Hi, we are an adult. So he's telling me, okay, and I'm explaining why it worked at one point. And I said, I don't know what the status is of these games. I know that you can still play them online. I said, but did you consider that with everything else working, that it might be a server issue with one of those games? Maybe there's just a problem with one of those games right now.
They're old games.
So, like I said, I know you can still play them online, but that doesn't mean that the server is the most upkept. Yeah. So, who knows? I'm just spitballing here. And he's like, no, I don't think it's server side. Or he's like, I don't think it's server side. He's like, I think it's the adapter because all of my iPads and iPhones, all of that stuff is hooking up to our Wi-Fi. And I'm like, that doesn't mean anything.
Sure.
I said, thus implying that the PS3 isn't. And then, he goes, and I know he's like, I'm certain it's the Wi-Fi adapter because when it wouldn't connect via Wi-Fi, I hardwired it in.
Okay.
And he's like, and it didn't work then. And I'm like, okay, then it's not the Wi-Fi, because if it was the Wi-Fi, he's making these false relationships.
Sure. I see where this is going. So how does this resolution for this?
Oh, we're not there yet.
Oh, Jesus.
So So basically, I'm like, look, you brought it here, it worked. Mm-hmm. I said, I have no problem with you exchanging the system for another system if that's what you would like to do. I said, maybe there's just something weird going on. I said, but it works here. So I'm like, there's another system down in Chula Vista. It was actually a slightly nicer model. And I was like, just go and exchange it. So I call, so they're like, okay, all right, when are they open till 8? I'm like, yeah, take your receipt. So I call Walter, and I'm like, Walter, please set aside that PlayStation 3. Mm-hmm. I said, when they bring it in, if you could, please set it up, hook it up to the TV, and just show it. No, this is the one they're exchanging. I'm like, show them that you can connect it to the internet. Mm-hmm. I said, and then you can still give them the other one. I said, I just want them to know that we did not sell them a broken product.
But they're bullshitting you.
Yes. But
so why even go through that rigmarole? Because you're a good business person.
Because
you're giving them benefit of the doubt.
Because it's fun. No, it's not fun, but it's what you have to do. Sure. But also, it's a sneaky way of being like, fuck you. I know this works.
Sure.
So, half an hour later, they walk back into the La Mesa store. And I just, at this point, I'm losing my patience. And I go, so you already went down to the other location? It's too far away.
Okay, then.
I said, okay, so what's going on? Well, can you please hook it up to the... Yes. So I take it and I hook it up to the internet, and it's fucking fine.
Immediately.
It's fine.
So then what do they say?
I'm like, so I put the game in, and I'm looking around. I'm like, all right, well, just let me know when I get further than you did, or if it's supposed to be freezing right now. And they're like almost immediately, like, oh, you're already further than we were. I don't even think I was in the online mode. Like, I just don't.
Why would it freeze at the server?
I just don't think they cared enough to have me go through it. They're like, hey, you're farther than we went. I think they just realized that at this point it wasn't going to happen.
So why do they have you test the Wi-Fi then at that point?
I don't
know. And the 1% chance that it wouldn't hook up to your Wi-Fi?
No, I think it's because the whole thing is, I think they had buyer's remorse and didn't think that we were actually going to test all of this shit out. I think they thought when they were buying it, they're like, and it's I'm not saying you're an asshole. Everyone thinks about this. This happens a lot in retail. If you think I'm lying, a lot of times in retail, people will want to buy something and then return it once they are done using it.
Sure.
Happens with tools. It happens with games.
But with this, you can't do it.
Right. So
You can't do it. Tools, really? Wow.
So
They did it with a sledgehammer once.
yeah.
No, it was big clippers. I needed to get a lock off, but it was like a fucking huge $20 thing. I just returned. I didn't need it.
Yeah.
That was
So I understand. Like, I don't like that idea, but I understand where it comes from, and I don't think you're bad for it. So when they were doing that in front, I'm like, when they bought it, I'm like, this is going to be problems. I said, I know we're going to have a buyer's remorse situation
because they're like
here.
shifty and like.
So I mean, finally the guy goes, well, what can we do? It's not working at home. And I said, I don't know. I said, but at this point, I said, it has to be something with your internet or something with the Activision servers. Mm-hmm. And I said, you can go down to the other location where I put a PS3 on hold for you, and you can exchange it if you'd like. But there's nothing more I can do for you here. You have to go there. And then they took the receipt and left, and I have no idea what else happened. That was Saturday, and I haven't paid attention to work since then, because Saturday pissed me the fuck off. There was more than that, too, but whatever. That's about all that matters.
That was the resolution?
Yeah.
We don't know how it ended up? It was a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Well, I'll find out from Walter and let you know. I'll have to update it. I'm actually wondering how that happened right now. So, yeah, it's a cliffhanger.
Son of a bitch, Ian. This could be the most disappointing Tales from the Game Store yet, because there's no resolution.
There's no good resolution. I just got them out of my fucking hair.
Oh God! I hope this is disappointing to the fan base of Tales from the Game Store.
I don't give a shit.
This is like watching the Two Towers.
Yep.
You gotta wait a whole year. This is Infinity War. Just snap the fingers. We don't know what's gonna happen to these. They try to scam the other store or not.
No idea. Walter would have killed them though.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, it's intense. So hopefully I'll have an update for next week. We'll see what happened. I have a feeling that Walter probably lit them on fire and threw them into the street.
Oh, okay. Walter's not as patient. When he's the nice one at your video game store, then
Walter is very, very nice and very sweet, but he can also he can lose his patience very quickly.
Okay, I guess it's like me to an extent. All right, that was our Tales from the Game Store, the Mega Saturday Fun Pack Edition.